following is a production of Learfield Sports.
Next on UMass Sports Insider, it's a trip of a lifetime for UMass football, going to play in the home of the most historic program in college football. We'll preview the Minutemen's game in South Bend against national power Notre Dame. And we'll take you back to a special weekend back in Western Mass for one of the greatest coaches in UMass history, reliving a Hall of Fame induction and a trip back to UMass for John Calipari. Plus, you'll get the sights and sounds from an anniversary 4 decades in the making, hitting the cross-country course with some standout former Minutewomen on a special weekend. Running straight for the finish line, UMass Sports Insider, here we go. Notre Dame Stadium in South Bend, the cathedral of college football. From Rockne to Rudy, some of the greatest moments in the history of the sport have occurred within its walls. Now, for the first time ever, the UMass Minutemen get their shot at the Fighting Irish, playing the top 10 team on its home field Saturday afternoon. Hello there and welcome to UMass Sports Insider. I'm your host, Josh Maurer. Coming up, we're going to visit with a couple of standout Minutemen defenders from the football team to preview the big game at Notre Dame. And also in about 15 minutes, we'll get to relive Coach Calipari's visit back here to UMass. But first, before we visit with Coach Mark Whipple, let's take a look back at a couple of the key plays from an almost upset of Temple at Gillette Stadium last weekend.
He makes the catch, and Rodney Mills is going to walk in for the touchdown. Down the middle, it's intercepted. Kareem Bailey-Smith.
And there's Sharp, and with that catch, Tajay Sharp has broken the UMass record for the most career receptions.
Mills on the slam, and he makes the catch in the middle of the end zone. Wilson into the end zone, and Jamal has the touchdown.
And now the Minutemen get ready for this huge test at Notre Dame on Saturday, and we're joined by head coach Mark Whipple. It's great to see you, Coach.
Yeah, hey, Josh.
What's it like for a program to go to such a historic venue and play against such a historic team that you're going to face on Saturday?
I don't know, we'll find out. Yeah, our guys will be excited, and you know, tremendous challenge. You know, they're really, really talented. I know they've got some injuries, but their backups are really, really, maybe even more talented, just not as experienced. So we got to get a little better, play a little smarter, and play with the same intensity and passion we had last week.
You know, do you feel like your team is taking momentum into this game? The end of the Temple loss notwithstanding, things for about 58 minutes went really, really well for your team. Do you take momentum from that?
Well, our guys know how to prepare. They know what it takes, you know, to play a good football team. So, you know, we just got to make a few more plays and eliminate a few mistakes.
How do you get ready to go play in front of 80,000 fans like you'll face this weekend at Notre Dame?
Well, our guys had played at Penn State last year, and you know, they'd been to Wisconsin the year before I got here, so they played in some places. And so, at Colorado wasn't, you know, didn't have 80,000, but we were good with a silent count, and we'll just, you know, play off of it.
So Notre Dame has a new quarterback. After the starter gets hurt, they go to Deshaun Kaiser, and he's won 2 big games for them. He beats Virginia, then he beats Georgia Tech last week. What have you seen from Kaiser that your defense is going to have to key on?
No, he's a talented guy, and he showed a lot of poise, a lot of moxie in the Virginia game because they were down. He brought them down through a great ball to win the game, and then played with a lot of confidence last week. So, you know, we'll have our hands full. Another guy that can throw it pretty well.
Let's talk about your team, and I want to go back to the Frohnapple-Sharp combination. Tajay breaks the all-time UMass receptions record in last week's game against Temple, and double-digit catches from Blake to Tajay in each of the first 2 games. What's made them so effective together?
Well, I think their familiarity, obviously, but they're willing to work and keep getting better. See them after practice, working on a few routes, a few different things that way. So, you know, we're moving Taj around as a smart football player. Fro's a smart football player, so they understand coverages and leverage and all those things. And they got a real security blanket between each other, and that certainly has paid off the past 2 Saturdays.
Your defense from week 1 to week 2 showed marked improvement from Colorado to Temple, and you slowed down Jihad Thomas, Temple's great running back, in that game at Gillette Stadium. What did your defense do better last week, and what do you want to see them continue to improve on this weekend?
Well, we played with intensity, and we're much more physical. you know, played the way we practiced, you know, a lot in camp and spring practice, and then had a good week of practice. So we just got to build on, again, eliminate some of the mistakes and a few of the fits that we miss, and you know, get ready to go.
So you get a chance to play at a place like Notre Dame Stadium for a program that you're trying to build. What kind of game is this to tell recruits, to show your fan base, these are the kind of games that we play in and hopefully we'll be very competitive in?
Well, yeah, we're going to do what we can to win the football game, and so we'll get a good plan. We've got a good plan, and just, you know, we'll see how it plays out. It's just part of the you know, recruiting tool. When you come to UMass, we're always going to play at least one of these games a year, and we've got a couple on the schedule next year, but we'll worry about Notre Dame this week.
Coach, best of luck. Great to see you as always. Enjoy the trip.
Hey, thanks, Josh.
Coach Mark Whipple joining us. It's time for us to take a quick break here on UMass Sports Insider. Don't go far away. When we come back, we're visiting with a pair of defensive standouts, including a linebacker who finished in the top 5 in the nation last season in tackles per game. Lots more still to come, so keep it right here.
It's football season, and that means excitement, thrills, and adventure. Enjoy friends and family VIP status when the Minutemen take to the field at Gillette Stadium. Be there Saturday, October 24th when we play Toledo. For just $80, you'll get 4 great seats, a $20 voucher to use any way you'd like in stadium, amazing local discounts, and free parking. Let the season begin with you. Call 866-UMass-TIX to get this exclusive deal and lock in your seats today.
I'm getting ready to shop for school supplies, and I'm kind of super excited about it.
A number 2 pencil, it'll get you through the day. This is what you need.
Why didn't I get enough pencils?
Like, I'd open a pack of paper, I'd be like, it smells like learning.
Love that sound.
Oh, the future is now, ladies and gentlemen.
This is what I'm gonna get. This right here.
I am a student again, and I can do anything, and I have an agenda.
Leadership isn't given, it's earned, realized, accomplished, fulfilled, won. Leadership isn't given, it's taken.
Forward-thinking insurance company with a global network, focused on taking care of you and your family, providing freedom from worry everywhere you go. Mafre Insurance, a forward-thinking insurance company with a global network, providing friendly service with over 2,000 professionals taking care of you and your family. Mafre Insurance.
Welcome back to UMass Sports Insider. This weekend, the Minutemen football team has a huge matchup in South Bend against a top 10 team in Notre Dame, and we're going to preview it with a couple of standouts from the defensive side of the ball. To my right is Kelton Brackett, the transfer from UAB, and further right, here's Jovan Santos-Knox, the great linebacker. Guys, thanks for coming on. Jovan, I'm going to start with you. The challenge of playing a team like Notre Dame, that's got to be exciting, but probably a little bit intimidating. How are you guys feeling going into the game?
You know, it's exciting. You know, we're really excited to get the chance to play Notre Dame and to play at this stage, this big level. You know, and you know, it's a little intimidating, but you know, my guys are going to be ready. We'll be ready to go.
You know, Kelton, Notre Dame, that's such a big name in college football. Everybody knows the history of it. Do you get excited to have an opportunity to play at a place like that?
It's always exciting to play a top 10 team, going to their stadium with a big crowd. So me and the defense going to take it as a challenge.
Let me ask you about your game last week. This is only your second game as a Minuteman, your first as a home game. So you go to Gillette Stadium, you have a big interception against Temple, then the fumble recovery late. How exciting was that for you to make a contribution like you did?
It was very exciting, like, to have the interception and the first fumble. Jovan make it so much better, you know, being the captain of the defense. So it's great, exciting to play with an enthusiasm guy like Jovan.
Well, Jovan, Obviously, your year last year was a breakout season. You finished in the top 5 in the country in tackles per game. You can't do much better than that. How do you feel you've carried the momentum from that season into the first 2 games this year?
You know, I think I carried it well. You know, I think we have, you know, a couple different faces out there, you know, with Shane Huber, you know, Kelton, obviously. So I think it's a more fun defense to play in, I think. So I think last year's success just carried over this year by, you know, having more experience and being ready for a game like this, big-time game.
When you have a year like you did last season, I imagine the off-season was very different. You got a lot of attention. I'm sure a lot of people wanted to talk to you. How did you prepare for this year with all the extra added spotlights that were shined on you?
Yeah, you know, I try to tune it all out. Coach Marcella, you know, made some good points to me talking about how, hey, if you want to, you're not just going to have a good senior year just because of what you did last year. You know, you're going to have to forget about it and, you know, do what you did last year to get where you want to be this year. So, you know, I just worked hard and tried to tune all that out.
You know, speaking of interesting off seasons, this man here, Kelton Brackett, you had an extremely interesting one. Playing at UAB, the program is stopped, and so you transferred here to UMass. What was that whole experience like?
It was a rough ride and a crazy experience because at the point when the football was closing, I didn't want to play football no more. Then I was searching for a football program, and UMass came about, and I took a visit here, and I was along with Jovan. He was just telling me how great it'll be an experience to be coming here to play my last year here. So I just jumped on for the ride.
How welcoming were your new teammates when you got here? How did you try to ingratiate yourself to them and become a starting cornerback like you did?
At first, I was just quiet, and I was around Jet and TDG and Jovan. They started having fun, taking me out different places around here, so it loosened me up a little bit.
Jovan, as this man said, you're kind of the captain of the defense, so how would you grade your team's performance improvement from week 1 at Colorado to week 2 against Temple? And then what do you have to keep doing to get better for week 3?
Yeah, you know, I think we definitely took great strides, and we improved tremendously from week 1 to week 2, and I think that's when you see the greatest improvements from week 1 to week 2. But overall, I think, you know, we made great plays. I would grade us maybe a B+, because I think, you know, 1 or 2 plays, and I think we actually win this game, you know. And obviously, you know, some things happen special teams-wise, otherwise, but as a defense, you want to get the ball last minute. You want to put the game on the line for you guys, for us. So as a defense, you want to step up and make that play. So I think that's the next step we're going to take is finishing the game.
Well, let's finish the interview with this. So Notre Dame, we talked about how talented they are. Malik Zaire, he's out. Deshaun Kaiser comes in, and he wins games at Virginia and against Georgia Tech. So he's obviously very good. I'll start with you, Kelton. What do you have to do to slow down Deshaun Kaiser, the Notre Dame quarterback?
Limit their play-action game. They're very good at play-action, run, and deep balls, so they've got limited deep balls.
What do you think, Jovan? What do you have to do to slow down that Notre Dame offense?
I think we just got to be prepared and be aligned right. You know, if we're aligned in the right place, running the right plays at the right times, I think we could compete with anybody. So I think if we just prepare well this week, it's all going to translate to the field.
Well, guys, best of luck at Notre Dame. Enjoy the experience, and let's go get a win there, too.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Let's take a quick break here on UMass Sports Insider. When we come back, we're going to take you back to a special weekend for a new basketball Hall of Famer. Coach Cal was back on campus here at UMass, and you'll see the visit coming up next.
Leadership isn't given. It's earned. Realized. Accomplished. Fulfilled. Won. Leadership isn't given. It's taken.
Welcome back to UMass Sports Insider. Earlier this month, the Naismith Hall of Fame welcomed its newest enshrinement class, one that included John Calipari, who at the beginning of his career made a mark by bringing UMass to national prominence and helped getting this Mullins Center built. Well, some of his friends from Amherst came back to help him celebrate in that memorable weekend. Let's take a look back.
I've got friends and family, and everywhere we've been, it's been all of us together fighting like crazy, and obviously I'm getting rewarded because of everybody in this room.
Definitely want to say congratulations to John Calipari for a wonderful job that he's done with all the guys at UMass. and all the other places he's been at, and he's definitely earned his way into the Hall of Fame.
It was kind of a reminisce day of the old days, as we call it, and it was great to have a lot of people show respect, but also the love that he brought to this area.
Such a great honor for him, being inducted into the Hall of Fame, a much-deserved honor, and it's just exciting to see a lot of old faces, a lot of old friends.
I'm going to talk to our players and about those kids tonight, but I say kids, I got guys with gray hair, and that's scary right now.
It's great for everyone to get together and kind of reunite, and especially for a great cause, and for one of the premier people in our lives that really did great things with himself and for others as well.
We're so happy for him. He's done so much for us and for the school, for a lot of communities. So we're just so happy for him.
You know, I came here as a boy, and I think in my 3 years I left as a man. And I think Cal has a lot to do with my maturity on and off the basketball court. So I'm embedded to him for life.
That's something that Cal's built around every program he's been around. It's about family. It's about guys taking care of each other and having each other's back.
He just taught us just be respectful of everybody that you come in contact with.
You know, I learned that if you work hard, you'll definitely achieve what you want in life, and he showed us that back in our UMass days, and that's what I carry in life now.
But I'm telling you from my heart, what you all have done for my family, just can't tell you how much I appreciate it.
Coach Cal won the first 193 games of his head coaching career right here at UMass. This season, his Kentucky Wildcats are once again expected to contend for a national championship. Time for us to take one last break here on the program. Don't go far away. On the other side, we'll take you for a run, going back to a special anniversary for a Minute Women fall sports team that reached some special heights 40 years ago. We'll be right back.
It's football season, and that means excitement, thrills, and adventure. Enjoy friends and family VIP status when your Minutemen take to the field at Gillette Stadium. Be there Saturday, October 24th when we play Toledo. For just $80, you'll get 4 great seats, a $20 voucher to use any way you'd like in stadium, amazing local discounts, and free parking. Let the season begin with you. Call 866-UMass-TIX to get this exclusive deal and lock in your seats today.
We're back for the final segment of UMass Sports Insider. 40 years ago, the UMass Minute Women had a very special season in cross-country racing, finishing an undefeated campaign in 1975 and as the #1 team in New England. Recently, members of that squad came back for a weekend of celebration. Here's a look.
In 1975, the first year of the program's existence, UMass went unbeaten through the fall and won the New England Women's Collegiate Championships under head coach Ken O'Brien.
Schools were adding women's sports in many areas. Cross country was a natural, so it grew quickly. 7, 8, 9, 10, 12 women to start a team. Uniforms, of course, you know, no padding, no helmets. Travel in New England for meets was very convenient. So it gained a life of its own, and it gained a life of its own very quickly.
I was saying to Obi last night, I said, you know, I remember that you just took us on, Title IX came in, we wanted to form a team. I don't think you took on twice as much work, but I don't think you got twice as much pay back then. And he was just so, you know, really good to us, really seemed like he took us seriously, cared about us a lot.
We bonded right away. We had a lot of fun. We had fun training and racing together. And we were talking last night about when we used to make up songs and take typical songs of the era and, of course, change it into running songs. And so as we trained and ran, we would sing our little songs. But we just, the camaraderie, and we were all very competitive. We loved to train and compete.
It was an amazing time to have that kind of camaraderie. And I didn't do sports in high school, so it was new to me. And it was just a fabulous place. Obi was such a great coach, Ken O'Brien. We called him Obi. We were the first team, so we got away with more, I think, than you guys do now.
They came on the scene. They advanced an interest to the university that they wanted to have a team, and they wanted to have it pursued in the right direction. There was an intensity with each one of these young women at that time that they were committed. They weren't experimenting. They weren't trying. They weren't in to find out how it could be. as something, as an extracurricular activity.
Ladies and gentlemen, members from the 1975 team joining us today, if you could come out one at a time. Ann Bradshaw Riccadelli. Johara Chapman. Mary Colwell. Kathy Dooley. Debbie Farmer Casey. Julie Lafreniere. Kathy Martin Gavin. And Coach Ken O'Brien.
They were competitive. They were competitive in the classroom. They had great desire, and they had great desire to sacrifice to reach their goals. Once they saw everybody else was in it for the same reasons, the momentum just built dramatically, and it built very, very quickly. And I would say halfway through the season, I was not surprised about what was going to happen.
My team went to Iowa and I got a t-shirt. I was number 9. 7 went. I was number 9. At the time, we just thought, hey, you know, this is what's fair. I mean, it was a whole change in the country of, you know, working for women's rights and fairness and having equality. And we just wanted to run. You know, but it does feel good. I feel like, well, I'm kind of an elder here. I mean, look at these young women. They're not running in the old basketball team's uniforms.
We wanted to run, and the support wasn't there initially, but then we showed that we could do it, and the support little by little got there, and I just love it now when we talk to the girls on the team, and they're like, oh yeah, we have uniforms, we have jackets, we don't have to wear the men's basketball uniforms. Like, oh really? That's really cool. They really have adopted it. Yeah, it's come a long way. Even in the years I was here, it came a long way from year to year.
A lot of the women nowadays, they don't understand that we didn't always have this. You know, they have 4 years in high school, 4 years in college, and I think they have a chance to speak with the alums and see that we didn't have uniforms. You know, we had some hand-me-down things. We were at Nationals. We were sitting in the hotel room sewing uniforms for ourselves. I didn't know how to sew, so someone else had to do mine. And I was the iron-on letters, you know, the vinyl letters on it. So things have progressed. We've come a long, long way, and I'm happy to have been a part of this for all these years.
It's football season, and that means excitement, thrills, and adventure. Enjoy friends and family VIP status when your Minutemen take to the field at Gillette Stadium. Be there Saturday, October 24th when we play Toledo. For just $80, you'll get 4 great seats, a $20 voucher to use any way you'd like in stadium, amazing local discounts, and free parking. Let the season begin with you. Call 866 UMass TICKS to get this exclusive deal and lock in your seats today.
I'm getting ready to shop for school supplies, and I'm kind of super excited about it.
A number 2 pencil. It'll get you through the day. This is what you need.
Why didn't I get enough pencils?
Like, I'd open a pack of paper and I'd be like, it smells like learning.
Love that sound.
Oh, the future is now, ladies and gentlemen.
This is what I'm going to get. This right here.
I am a student again, and I can do anything, and I have an agenda.
Forward-thinking insurance company with a global network, focused on taking care of you and your family, providing freedom from worry everywhere you go. Mafre Insurance, a forward-thinking insurance company with a global network, providing friendly service with over 2,000 professionals taking care of you and your family. Mafre Insurance.
Great to see those cross-country Minute Women alumni back on campus. That's going to do it for this edition of UMass Sports Insider. Thanks so much for watching. In our next new episode next week, we'll get you ready for the first home game here at McGurk Stadium as UMass hosts Florida International on the gridiron. Until then, have a great weekend. I'm Josh Maurer, and again, thanks for watching.